So for our next session, we have two speakers on board, William Lawrence and Prerna Malhotra. William is the Director of Sales India. William main focus is on... Okay, great. Thanks.
Good. Hey guys, good afternoon. How are you doing today? You learned a lot in the last hour or so. Yeah, and you've also been learning how to manage Bangalore traffic. So that's good. What I'm going to be talking about today, I mean, yeah, we had planned that Prerna and me will do this session together, but then he said, hey, we'll do it one at a time. So that's okay. So that confusion's been sorted. Hey, where do I get the presentation at? So everybody's been talking this morning about how do we get more people to visit our websites? How do we get them to spend more time on the websites? What are the tools you could get them to spend more time on the websites? And how do you convert and get them to buy more high-value products? And then get that into the whole loyalty loop. But if not all of you, most of you here would definitely want to know and have a high-value NPS. By NPS, we mean Net Promoter Score, right? For folks who are selling on their own branded websites and also folks who are selling on marketplaces, customer is king, irrespective of what business you are in, right? And keeping that in mind, what we intended to speak about today is what leads to happy customers and what drives loyalty. During the course of this presentation, I'll let you know that we focus more on the post-purchase angle of it. But just at the start, I'll let you know what NPS stands for. When you're looking at your end customer or consumer, how likely are they to recommend you as a company, a brand, a product, or a service to any of their friends or colleagues? You got to understand that at the end of the day, it's humans who are buying stuff and humans who are selling stuff. So word of mouth also becomes very, very, very important and pertinent. So if you see how Net Promoter Score is defined, it is equal to the percentage of promoters minus the percentage of detractors. And this is one of the quasis used to measure the quality of or the satisfaction that the end customer has with the service or product you're providing, right? So guys who score you between 1 and 6 are your detractors. We're not going to say, look, William's presentation sucked. He's a detractor of mine, right? But if someone says, oh, I like the way he presents, he's good, you got to use him for more presentation, you got to listen to what he's saying because he makes a lot more sense, a promoter. So net, the idea is to have a lot more promoters and a lot less distractors as your end customers. Because every customer, I mean, you as brands may at times spend a lot of money to get brand ambassadors. But the long and short of it is every customer you make happy, at the end of the day, becomes your brand ambassador. If they go and say, look at this particular website, it's brilliant, right? So keep that in mind. Higher the number of promoters, less the number of detractors, you're in a good shape, right? So basically what NPS does is it's an indicator of how healthy your company's growth is. A few aspects that we found out in our existence over the last 7 to 8 years in the US and the Indian markets, we've been there for 2 years now. Retaining customers is always better than acquiring customers because it costs you a lot less to retain a customer. Realistically, you end up spending a lot more. I mean, when Anshu presented as well, you realize that it's almost close to 5 times more expensive to acquire a new customer, because I remember the numbers he called out. Every acquisition is anywhere between 333 rupees down to about 3,900. That's the call out you had, right? But once you get the guy in or the girl in, ensure that they stick with you. And that's why loyalty is good. And how does that one, how does one do it? By providing satisfaction and keeping them happy, right? Point number 2 that I wanted to make, 9 out of 10 customers do not repeat purchase if they're dissatisfied. So from a perspective of e-commerce, especially if you're running your own brand, right? I mean, a lot of you know that Amazon in principle is the gold standard for customer experience. So anything to do with e-commerce, I think someone called that out, right? I think in terms of the whole, the cycle or the flow that any e-commerce follows, right? So keep in mind that when you're in e-commerce, your customer wants, how would I put it? The customer wants a lot more clarity and the customer wants a lot more openness from you, right? That's important. The third aspect, 60% of retailers are more profitable by just increasing retention by 5%. The fourth aspect, high NPS leads to a higher lifetime value of your end customer. So the longer you have the customer, the lesser churn you have with the number of customers, you're going to be making a lot more money from them. It's very simplistically. And the fifth and most important point, word of mouth is free. This goes back to the point that I was making, that every customer is a brand ambassador for you. If I go and say, look, AdYogi is good to any of my customers, there's a higher chance, because they trust me and they believe to trust me, that they want at least have a word with AdYogi and then take things forward with them, right? So factors that impact NPS, there are 4 key points that we've called out, right? The first and most important that most of you tend to focus on is the whole online shopping experience up till the purchase is made. The whole aspect of promotions, the whole aspect of how is my look and feel on my website, how is the UX, am I leading to lesser clicks before they actually go ahead and consummate the purchase? That's the first piece. The second is the second piece. I mean, all of 2, 3, and 4 are the perspectives after the purchase is made, specifically in terms of product quality expectation versus reality. If you're promising a good quality product and they end up with something that's damaged or the quality isn't as good as it's called out, look, guys are not going to be happy with you. That's going to be a detractor. Simplistically, delivery expectation versus reality. A lot many times, which is very important, specifically for e-commerce. If you see, one of the key differences between e-commerce and brick and mortar purchase, when you see e-commerce is delayed gratification. Brick and mortar is immediate gratification. I go into a shop, I buy a suit, I can wear it in the next half an hour. Simplistically, I go on to now.com or because I'm talking to those guys, but yeah, and I place an order for a suit, I'm probably going to get it 2 days hence. And I've spent a half decent amount of money. And everybody's money spent is important. So what happens is it's going to be delayed gratification, and the anxiety increases. And for all that reason, it's about, you'll have to keep them informed, and very importantly, also ensure that the quality is met in terms of product you're providing them. The fourth aspect that's important from an NPS perspective is the post-delivery engagement expectation versus reality. By post-delivery engagement, what do we mean? If someone's not happy with the product they've procured from your own websites, do you give them a sensible opportunity to return? Do you give them a sensible opportunity to exchange? Are you giving them an opportunity to talk to you, to say, look, I'm not happy with what I've gotten? Because if you give them options of reach out to my 1-800 number, send me an email, I'll respond back with a tat of 24 hours, that's going to lead to disgruntlement and someone who's not going to be happy, an end customer who's not happy. So these 4 aspects are very, very pertinent to keep your net promoter score high. And today, everybody knows. I mean, this slide, I don't need to spend too much time of it, but the long and short of it is, yes, by 2020, we'll have 329 million people who can buy online in India. Probably the number would be even higher for all you know. This is a projection, right? Today, we're doing 1.2 million transactions per day in India. And each of you guys are vying for that 1.2 million. Today, probably you're at 10 transactions a day, then you might move to 100, and then you might move into 1,000. So what we're trying to say is the business on e-commerce, like I think Swati has done a presentation, that anything and everything is sold online. And that's the business most of you who are sitting here are in. And that's probably why you're even attending this session today, right? What we're trying to say is it's getting busy. The number of shoppers are growing up. The disposable income in India is high. So net, it's a good place to be in, right? So besides all this, what's happening is to some extent, if you don't focus enough, the dissatisfaction levels go up, because the expectation of now an educated person who got enough money to spend tends to be, look, I'm spending money, I need to get good service. And that's important from an e-commerce perspective as well. For example, the point that we found in our survey that we did earlier this year was 52% of the customers seek online return, an easier return, rather than dropping them a note or calling them on their toll-free number and then going through that whole process, which irks the customer a bit. The easier you make a return process, the more happy your customers. Oh, I've got last 2 minutes. Oh man, I got a long set of stuff to talk about, but hey, I'll speed it up. That being said, lack of visibility. So enabling your customer who's paid enough money to buy your high quality products to be able to track that, to know where it is. Because at the end of the day, like I said earlier, it's a delayed gratification, right? So they want to know where that product is. Track order any time of the day, and also proactively inform them. That's very important, because at times in e-commerce, what happens is that you say, look, the product's going to reach you in 2 days, the product's going to reach you in 5 days, but at times it does not happen. So proactive communication with your end customer is very imperative, right? So it's easy to buy online, but force customers through a frustrating post-purchase experience. So that's the business that Narvar is in, right? I've talked about this already, but what's important, these are key takeaways. I'm going to speed it up a bit, but key takeaways. Set clear expectations with your customers, because 70% of the customers cite transparency as the top need for a satisfying experience. Set loyalty. Repeat customers tend to spend 15% more. How can you make them spend more time, and how can you get them to be more loyal with you, right? Given these customer expectations, how can retailers drive NPS? And that's where I had to make my pitch about Narvar, right? I'm just going to take a minute here. We've been here since 2012 in existence. We are the pioneers in the whole post-purchase experience for e-commerce, not just e-commerce. Potentially, we could look at other industries as well. At this point in time, we have served 400 million customers in 38 different countries across 55 different languages. India, we're doing fairly well. We've been in existence now for about a couple of years. We have a good 30, 35 people, paying customers who are with us and satisfied with the kind of work we're doing for them, right? And we help customers build loyalty through seamless personal experiences. I'm just going to take I'll stop at this slide because I'm running short on time. What we do for you, right? If you're on an Amazon today as an end customer, if William goes to Amazon and says William wants to buy this particular watch, he places this time. It says, William, look, you place this order in the next half an hour. You can get this product in the next 24 hours. What are you doing with your end customer at that point in time? You're making him or her get into going ahead and consummate that purchase. 10 minutes up, I got 2 minutes. Okay, cool. I got 1 minute. Right? But so what's important there, the imperative there is that you're giving them that clarity of thought that, look, in these many days, your product's going to come, or in these many hours, your product's going to come. So chance of conversion goes up. Today, an Amazon can do it, a Flipkart can do it, but guys like yourselves, you may not have enough data to do that. That's something that Narvar can help with. Reach out to us after this presentation. My colleague Prerna is there as well. Second aspect is track. The important angle of tracking today, the bugbear there is someone's using a delivery, someone's using a FedEx, someone's using a Blue Dart. But today, as an end customer, when I buy from a Levi's and I'm directed to Blue Dart, do I really care? The answer is no. Because right through the purchase cycle, you're talking brand. And after the purchase is consummated, why should I talk about Blue Dart, delivery, and FedEx? That's where we can help you. Come to Narvar, right? The third aspect of sensibly notifying your customer. If there's a delay, right, it's appropriate to inform the customer, like, look, William, you're expecting your product on 5th September. It's probably going to reach you on 7th. That's where we can help you. Now, one more big bugbear that you have today is the whole NDR scenario. When someone tries to reach William and I've placed an order and I'm on a meeting or probably I've traveled to Bombay, they're calling me, I can't reach. What does that? That becomes an NDR. It happens once, it happens twice, it happens thrice, and all probably it's going to be an RTO for you. Forward logistics cost, reverse logistics cost, warehouse cost. Why? Can we reduce that for you? The answer is potentially yes. We've done that with a few customers in India. Reach out to us. We'll tell you at the end of the day how we can help you with that. And finally, we also enable a quick one-click return kind of a scenario. That's something we can help you with as well. So very, very clear-cut, nuanced 5-6 use cases that we can help any fledgling e-commerce with or an established e-commerce with. And we have some really big guys with us also in India, right? When we do catch up, Prerna and me, Prerna's there. That's Prerna, the pretty one with the white cardigan. So we can catch up with you after this session, have a quick chat on what we can do together. If any of these are problem areas that you want to be addressed, we can help address it for you, guys. So I'll stop here. Thank you so much for your time. Yeah.
Thanks, William.